you deal with HR and safety a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and compliance. How does that all work together? As a safety manager, working with the human resources department, working with compliance. What's kind of those intersections, some of those, collaboration or teamwork kind of opportunities there.
So I'll answer in two ways. Firstly, compliance should not be the goal of your safety program, and that's probably a little bit different take than most folks are used to hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go back and you talk about motivation, why did OSHA form? Well, some business owners were dirtbags. They didn't take care of their people.
Mm-hmm.
OSHA really exists to keep business owners and business operators from hurting their employees,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a simplistic breakdown. We found that there are some compliance tasks you just got to do the thing, right?
Yeah.
You just got to check the box. But if you approach your operation with an ethical, moral baseline, you treat your people not as commodities, you treat them as people, you treat them as the most valuable asset that your business has.
Mm-hmm.
Compliance seems to be something that sort of just happens.
Kind of takes
Now,
care of itself a little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
It becomes a product of the process, right? And that's not to say that you shouldn't have a compliance mindset. That's not to say that. But I found working at Trinity, having the people first concept, take care of your people, compliance is way easier. It occurs much easier, much more frequently. We have so many fewer instances where we have to worry about compliance.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take care of you, if when you come to me and you say, man, my back's kind of stiff, and you know that I'm going to take care of it, I'm going to find you some light duty per se.
Yeah.
The chances of you reporting a hazard and trusting that I'm going to take care of it when it could actually cause a significant injury, it should just go through the roof. They'd absolutely go through the roof. And the second half of what you've asked about working with HR, probably unconventional as well. I see HR as the biggest force multiplier for the safety program in the company.
Huh.
And it goes back to, put in a little bit of a framework from a psychology standpoint. You're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah.
So we start at the bottom. We've got those physiological needs, that safety need, and way up there at the top, we've got that self-actualization. When we start talking about looking at more than myself, being the most I can be, taking care of others. Well, HR is what's providing those two layers, those first two. We bring employees in, we treat them with respect, we provide them a paycheck that's extremely competitive, we give them modern tools that work well, we provide a maintenance department that is Johnny on the spot to fix issues. Now I get people who have met those bottom layers. They're working in that fourth and fifth tier of Maslow's hierarchy. That's where you get your buy-in. That's where you get your engagement. That's where you get your guys who are thinking ahead. That's where you get your guys that are going to be willing to say, hey, we've done it this way for 25 years. I wonder if there's a better way.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that when you have an HR department that's bringing in guys that aren't well suited, culture fit. They're not making a good paycheck. How can I ask one of my fabricators to worry about safety when he's worried about putting shoes on his kids' feet?
Yeah.
Those two things won't work. So if I have an HR department that has a very solid policy for attracting quality folks, they retain those folks, they treat those folks well. We've got a gentleman, we're doing a retirement party tomorrow. He's retiring after 46 years with our company. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. We've got a number of folks that are 20, 25, 30 years with the company because they're treated well, they're taken care of, and they're operating at the upper end of that framework. That's why we've seen an 80% reduction in our recordable rate in 2 years.
That's awesome.
We've seen our DART rate dip from really not very good. We're beating the average last year.
So good, man.
So
That's really important.
Picture.
Yeah, and you got to coordinate, right? I mean, you can't have siloed departments in an organization, and then
not at all.
And then they don't communicate because it just sometimes you're being counterintuitive on the messaging you're sending out or the incentives, right?
Absolutely.
We look at what's incentivizing the poor behaviors and how do we turn that and create the right motivators for people in an organization. And it's fascinating to think about getting to that root cause, figuring out what's driving people instead of hammering them for doing something, right? And it's such a different approach.